Very good, very good. So, how are you all doing? I hope that you're having a blessed day today. And Alhamdulillah, what a way to gain extra blessings than to seek knowledge and to gather to learn from Sheikh Waleed Basyouni. I'm pretty sure you all know who he is. You all attended at least one of his seminars, whether online, physical. But just in case you're new, Sheikh Waleed Basyouni is the Imam of Clear Lake Islamic Center, who are very, very active on Facebook. So I guys follow them. Follow them. There's a massive echo, right? Yeah. So you could follow them there, inshallah. And also, he is director of Texas Dawah Convention, mashallah, and he is a member of AMJA Fiqh Council. So, with that being said, I'll just wait until the sheikh is ready to turn on his camera, and inshallah, we're going to be ready to go with the questions. We're going to go first with the questions from the live ask. By the way, through the link, I'm sure you all have it. The live ask, we don't see who it is. So everything is anonymous. We don't see who's asking the question. So we're going to go from there, inshallah. Oh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Waleed. So nice to see you, mashallah. Beautiful background. I believe the audio is a little bit muffled. It's far off. Is that only me, or
is it better?
Now we can hear you a little bit, yeah.
Let me double check again.
Now
can you hear me?
Now it's good. Yes, now it's good. Yes, now it's good. Perfect. So inshallah, everyone, we're going to be prioritizing questions about Ramadan. And then if there's extra time, we're going to answer the rest of the questions. So Sheikh Waleed, once again, lovely to see you. Jazakallah khair for the time and effort that you put in. And we are ready to begin.
And it is my pleasure to be with you guys today, answering the questions, whatever I can. And I know I will, inshallah, be happy to answer. I would like to say, I would like to say that we are in a great opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given us the time, ability to be here, witness. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He allowed us to witness the beginning of Ramadan, that to be able to continue this month with good deeds until we end it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. Allahumma. I'm not sure. I'm kind of distracted. I keep hearing. Is the sound clear?
Not anymore. It keeps on cutting in and out, Sheikh.
Okay, so because
Bluetooth earphones or something?
Yeah, my earphone is just keep connected, disconnected. So I hope now it is better.
Yeah, or if you want use the classic ones, man. We can't go wrong with that. But we'll see.
No.
We'll see how it goes, inshallah. So we'll begin with the first question.
No,
again,
man, hold on. Hold on. Okay. I think it should be now good.
Yes, now it's good, inshallah. We'll see. We'll keep on monitoring, inshallah, and see how it goes. So, bismillah. Let us take a look at the first question, Sheikh. Okay, so this is we're going to start with the questions from focused on Ramadan. Does masturbating invalidate fasting?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walahu wa ba'd. Masturbating is a forbidden act. It's haram for men and women, unless it is performed between husband and wife. But other than that, it is haram, and it did invalidate the fasting, because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that in fasting, يدع طعامه وشرابه وشهوته من أجله. That the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the fasting person will abstain from fulfilling his desires when it comes to food or drink or sexual desire. So he abstained from these things, and no doubt that such act will invalidate the fasting. Ibn Qudama rahimahullah ta'ala said, if somebody kiss and the kiss results of persons to produce semen, in this case, he said, I don't know any disagreement that his or her fasting is invalid. So, and the majority of the fuqaha will agree on that. I don't think there is an agreement on it, but that's the vast majority. And it is the position that goes with the ahadith and the meaning of siyam. Yes.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. And by the way, we're going with the questions in the order that they were submitted. So we're just going to go with that order. So that determines
No problem.
first and second, inshallah. And yeah. So what advice, Sheikh, would you give to someone who wants to use Ramadan as an opportunity to make up a lot of missed salat from when they were not practicing?
First of all, the person should repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sincere repentance. And sincere repentance, it means that the person regret missing the salah, that the person commit to be praying on time, and the person will have the intention that never ever to go back to such state where the person abandons the salah. As for this salah that the person missed before, that person does not need to make it up, because he abandoned it or he left it intentionally. And in such case, there is no makeup for it. The only way to make this up is by repentance and by committing to your salah right now. Then to add extra volunteer prayers. So my advice to you, brother or sister who asked this question, is to make sure that you care for the Taraweeh prayers and you pray your daily Taraweeh prayer, and to add extra prayer in the daytime, like a duha. And in the night, if you can even pray at home, extra salah, it will be great. Make sure that you pray the 5 daily prayers on time, making a lot of istighfar, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you, because leaving salah is such a great sin. It's one of the greatest sin after shirk that the person can do. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us and to forgive that person.
Jazakallah khair. Sheikh, is it allowed to apply anti-itch cream to your skin while you are fasting?
Yeah, any type of cream that absorbed by the skin, it is allowed, unless that cream is or that material that observed by the body through skin, it has nutritions in it, or it has it's like a substitute to food or drink. Like, for example, the smoking patch, the nicotine and the effect of it is the same as you smoking or you drinking or consuming, getting coffee to get alert. So that will invalidate this a lot. But just any type of cream, like itchy or like for itching or for sanitization, or as somebody has eczema, things like that, it will not invalidate the siyam.
Okay. And here another question about inhaling.
It doesn't matter what kind of cream, if it's coconut cream, if it is almond cream, if it is any type of cream, shampoo, conditioner, you put in your hair, anything that it's not food, it's not take the same meaning of food or drink. Yes.
Okay. So can countries where fasting is long perform iftar according to Mecca time? Some people say it is allowed.
Okay, there is no such opinion in the Muslim jurists, as far as I know, saying that you make iftar according to Mecca time, or to declare Ramadan and end of Ramadan according to Mecca time. There is no such things like that in the fuqaha's opinion. The fuqaha rahimahumullah said that basically what if you live in a country where there is no day or nights, there's no difference between day and night. Like the days are, the light is 24 hours or the night is 24 hours. In this case, what we do, we look at the closest country to you, okay? And let's say you are living in North Norway, where they don't have, the sun never goes down. In this case, those people will make their timing according to the closest country to them, which has kind of normacy. So you will go to a country like, for example, maybe England. You go to a country like France, country like Holland, where there is day and nights and kind of in a normal situation. Even if you choose a Muslim country, in this case, will be something like Morocco, maybe Bosnia, and you see how the day there, and you do accordingly. Yes.
Okay, barakallah fiqh. If a woman was at the end of menstruation, she planned to fast Ramadan, yet did not have access to wash for ghusl. She did not have access to ghusl. She made wudu, and when she had access after Fajr passed, she did the ghusl. Does the fast count?
Ghusl is not a condition for fasting. The condition is for the haid, or for the menstruation, or for your period to come to an end. So even if you do the ghusl after Fajr, it's fine. Your siyam is correct, and you must fast actually.
Is it allowed to cut nails and shave your beard while fasting?
You're allowed to cut your nails while you're fasting, and you're not allowed to shave your beard, fasting or no fasting. It has nothing to do with fasting.
Mm-hmm.
Shaving beard is haram, is forbidden in Islam.
Nafa'allahu bik, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Will praying along with virtual Taraweeh or virtual Jum'ah be valid? Of course, only because of the COVID restrictions. Jazakallah khair.
It is not allowed for somebody to be part of a salah that virtually. The only way you be considered part, because when we say Salatul Jama'ah, or you're praying in Jama'ah, it means you are with them. Because linguistically, you will not be part of it if you live somewhere else, or you are hundreds of miles or away from them. And this salah is invalid, and it's not correct. If you cannot join the Jumu'ah or the Jama'ah because of the COVID restriction, alhamdulillah, you can pray at home, Dhuhr or for Jumu'ah, and you can pray your Taraweeh on your own. And this is an opportunity for you to pray with your family members, as I know so many people. Any fatwa that comes out telling you that you're allowed to pray Taraweeh virtually is called Shad fatwa. It's a weak fatwa and has no basis in Sharia. It's actually the Muslims for decades now have TVs, and nobody ever says, you know what, just turn on Mecca Taraweeh. What can be better than joining Taraweeh in Mecca? And it's the same time zone. If you are in Egypt, for example, it's the same time zone. You can pray in this after Isha too. Anybody has a common sense will say that. If somebody said, oh no, because of COVID is not a reason for allowed that. Who said that Taraweeh is wajib and you must do? Who said that you don't have another alternative to go to pray Jumu'ah? Even I'm not a big supporter of that opinion. Even if we say that, the second option will be pray Jumu'ah with your family at home. Even I don't believe that this is a strong opinion, but that will be much better than somebody making up that praying Jumu'ah virtually or praying virtually. This will open the door. Okay, you know what? I'll just be. Can you imagine you go to Mecca and you stay in your hotel and just turn on the TV and you pray? You never go to the Haram. Would anybody would say that this person will be praying with the Jama'ah? Or you just pray in Jeddah? You go to Jeddah and have fun in the market there, the malls, and the salat times. You just turn on the TV or the radio. It's virtual. And no one, some opinions. When you really think about it, you know how weak they are. العلماء, they said حكاية القول تغني عن رده. Sometimes some opinions, just relating them without all the fancy word that some people try to use to allow that. Just saying it and imagining it and picturing it is enough to know that this is not acceptable. We're not against technology, whatever. No, but we are also for authenticity. We are for the right principle to be based on, and that's why we issued a fatwa in Amjad, Assembly of Muslim Tourist America, North America, that such salah is invalid and is not acceptable for a Muslim to do such thing. The only thing I would say, you can virtually listen to Khutbah al-Jumu'ah and benefit from it. You can listen to the Salat al-Tarawih and learn from it. That's fine. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept. And I think this pandemic have showed us so many weaknesses in our ibadat. Like, for example, somebody told me, Sheikh, but I don't know how to pray Tarawih. I mean, I think that's a question that somebody should ask himself. How come I'm a Muslim and I don't know how to pray Tarawih? You know what? It's not shame that you don't. What's shame is to continue don't. What is wrong? It's not wrong that you didn't, it's, for me, it's not the biggest, it's the worst thing that you didn't know how to read Quran. But the worst thing will be if you continue. So this pandemic didn't change anything in our life. You continue, don't know how to read Quran. You continue, you don't know how to salah. And you don't have to make it like in Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam time, somebody, Sahabi, his Tarawih was, or night prayer was, Qul Huwallahu Ahad. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be like the whole entire Mus'haf. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us, and make bring relief to all of us from this pandemic as soon as possible.
Jazakallah khair. So next question here. As far as I know, vaccines and medicine injections for pains and anesthetics do not break the fast. But what about dry medicine pills through the mouth or anything going to the throat? Does that break the fast?
Yes, anything that you consume from your mouth, it will break your fast if you do that intentionally, even if it's a stone.
So what's the kafara for missed fasts of somebody who's deceased? Can we give groceries to poor people instead of feeding the poor?
If somebody passed away, it depends. The person who passed away can be one of several kind of people. If that person did not fast because of permanent reason, like permanent illness, he can't fast. Like somebody has cancer, diabetes, blood pressures, heart problem, he has to take medication, blah, blah, blah. That person, not fasting for him was permissible, and he was supposed to feed. In this case, you can feed on his behalf these days, the 30 days that he missed, and he never was able to feed the people for it. And that is a meal per person. You can give them the meal, or you can give them the money for it if that's more beneficial for them, like $15. Like for example, in America here, $10 to $15 and a meal will cost on average. If you can't, that'll be better. You can give it to multiple people or one person. But if that person who passed away, he did not fast Ramadan because of a temporary illness or because of traveling or because of valid reason, allowed, or a sister had her menses and she didn't fast during her menses, then she passed away. There's no fidya in this case. There is no feeding for these days. But what should be done? Here, al-ulama rahimahullah debated into two groups. Some groups said their family should fast these days on their behalf. So some of the scholars said, in this case, because the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was asked about someone who died and there's fasting missing, then should they fast on his behalf? He said, yes, it's like a debt, you paying it on his behalf towards Allah. So some of the Hanabila and some of the scholars said, yes, you can do that. And you can fast, and you should fast these days on that person's behalf. This is 7 days, 6 days, whatever, you fast on their behalf. Others scholars said no, because fasting was not actually obligatory on the person. Because as you know, making up the days, they have until the next Ramadan. And they died before the next Ramadan. So even making up these days was not wajib on them yet. It's only wajib if the next Ramadan comes and they didn't fast. Even this particular point, there is a debate. So they said there is no need for anybody to do anything, no feeding, nothing. Just make dua for them, make sadaqah on their behalf, and that should be enough, inshallah. Personally, I lean towards the opinion where you just can make dua for them, still far. I feel that this is a much stronger opinion, yes.
Barakallah fiqh, Sheikh. We're gonna soon enough, everyone. By the way, we're gonna be opening the floors to the people who are in this Zoom session. So after, I'm gonna ask like maybe one or two questions, and then I'm gonna ask you. We're gonna do it, of course, first come first serve. You just have to raise your hand. You click the button, the reaction. Raise your hand. It would be really nice if you have your camera on so that your questions are gonna be asked. Don't start raising your hand yet, Sheikh. Real quick. Does taking eye drops does that invalidate the siyam, the fast?
Eye drops? No, eye drops will not break your fast, because eye drops will not lead to your throat. So no, eye drops will not break your fast. So those who have allergy, you could.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to ask you all to start raising your hand if you have any questions. And while this is happening, Sheikh, we could squeeze in another question from the live ask. Somebody, Sheikh, who came to the masjid and they missed Salat al-Isha, what do? Do they pray Isha alone while Taraweeh is being led, or do they join Taraweeh, the Nafila, with the intention of the Fard of Isha? What do they do?
If somebody came late and already the Jama'ah praying Taraweeh, you should join them and you pray Isha with them. It's not a condition for your intention to be similar to the intention of the Imam. You can pray two different prayers, and there is plenty of hadith to support that. Once the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam prayed Fajr and somebody came late. Then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man yatasaddaqu ala hadha?" Who can join this person in prayer? And it will be like a volunteer prayer for you, like a donation. Then one of the Sahaba did. So now the Sahabi prayed with that man with complete two different intention. One of them was praying Fajr and the other one was praying just Sunnah. Another incident, Mu'adh ibn Jabal. He used to pray with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he will go back and lead his people. And he just prayed Isha with the Prophet sallallahu. Then he prayed with his people volunteer prayer. So the strongest opinion among the scholars that there is no condition. It's not a condition for your intention to match the intention of the person who is praying behind them. So you can be praying Isha and they are praying Taraweeh. That should be, inshallah, the best way. I just really don't like when people come late to masjid and then what? They start praying another Jama'ah while the Taraweeh going. So the voice of the second Jama'ah interrupt the first Jama'ah, and it's a mess. So I don't like that, and I don't agree on that. In worst case scenario, you can pray on your own and you join the Jama'ah afterwards. But the best is to pray with them Taraweeh. When the Imam says Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, you stand up and you pray 2 rakats. Yes, I'm proud of these young girls who are watching me. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. I can't see the name.
What is Sarah, name? I believe.
Sarah's
daughters, I believe.
I'm proud of you guys. Assalamu alaikum, guy. Assalamu. Do I see? Oh, okay. Sorry, my phone is just small, so I can't see everybody. Yeah, and also I have Ahmed. Ahmed, how are you doing? Nice. I like you.
All right, mashallah. So, Sister Mariam, you were, I believe, the first to raise your hand. And I know this is streamed on multiple pages on Facebook. So if you want to be amongst those who are able to ask questions live in this Zoom, all you have to do is register through the Ramadan360.org Ramadan360.org, and you'll be able to take advantage and ask questions for even future fatwa nights that we're going to have, inshallah. Sister Maryam, you could unmute yourself and ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, so I have two questions. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first one, so I'm reading Quran out loud in like a Taraweeh prayer, and then, for example, what happens if you, I don't know, make a mistake and you don't like realize that you made a mistake, like when you're reading the Quran?
Okay. Then
Like,
how
what
did you know?
happened?
How did you know that you made a mistake if you don't realize that you made a mistake?
No, not really. Like, I mean, you're unsure of what you're saying. So, for example, if like I say something and then I'm sure if this is right or wrong.
Yeah, you just you skip the verse and you start with another verse. You can sometimes start with completely another surah if you want.
Oh, okay. And also, does perfume invalidate the fast?
No, perfume will not invalidate the fast.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So rule of thumb is this: anything that is food or drink or take the same meaning, it have the same kind of effect, or anything that you consume from you to go through your throat, through your mouth or through your nose. Okay, so I'll ask you a question now. So what about if somebody will go and take, for example, a blood fusion, transferring blood to your body? Would that break your fast? Let's see who can answer.
So whoever wants to answer, just please, I mean, if you raise
Just
your
speak up.
yeah, speak up.
Yeah.
Speak up.
Yes, it breaks their fast.
Why?
Is that alpha? Yeah.
Yes,
Why alpha?
because it enters your body's cavity, goes through it intravenously.
Yeah, because it's the same meaning of food. That's right. What food end up doing? Going to our blood cells, after all this process. So it's the same concept. That's why it break your fast, Okay.
So here we have Sister Amatullah.
Very good. Thank you.
You were next, inshallah. You could unmute yourself and ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I just have one question about the Fajr Sunnah. Now in the West, there is no masjid that you can't hear the adhan from the masjid, so we just go off of our phone. How do you know what time you pray that to before the Fajr Salah? Jazakumullah khair.
You're Fajr Salah is not based on the time of the Iqamah in the masjid. It's based on your Fajr Salah. So you pray the Sunnat al-Fajr before you pray your Fajr prayer. So, okay, it doesn't matter. Let's say you pray Fajr at 6:30 and the masjid, they pray Fajr at 6:10, okay, or 7, whatever. So the Sunnah has to do with your Salah, not the masjid Salah, or not the time of the Salah in the masjid. They are not connected. The main thing is that you pray your Sunnat al-Fajr before you pray your Fajr prayer. And as for the Adhan, if the Adhan is called for Fajr, you can pray Sunnat al-Fajr. After that, you pray the Fajr prayer. And I would say sometimes you are tired. Like today, I was very tired at Fajr prayer. And the shaitan comes to you and said, hey, just pray Fajr and go to sleep. I just want to make sure that, don't miss out. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, rak'atay al-Fajr, the 2 rak'ah of Fajr, which is the Sunnah before Fajr prayer, khayrun min ad-dunya wa ma fiha, better than whatever in the face of this earth. It's better than anything that in this earth. So that's a huge, can you imagine what's in this world? Can you imagine how many palaces, how many bank accounts, how many banks, how many gold, silver, kingdom, all this will not be equal to what you will get in the day of judgment or when we go into Jannah, inshallah ta'ala, because of the 2 rak'ah of al-Fajr. Who want to miss that?
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, inshallah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, mashallah. All right, so the next hand was from Sister Ragad from Florida. Jazakallah khair for having your camera on as well. You could unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sorry.
I have 2 questions as well. One of my questions is like I have 2 adhan apps and each one gives me a different time for Fajr. So I don't know like which one am I supposed to follow?
Yeah, the most accurate one in my opinion, and that's a long explanation, but just a short answer is follow what the North America prayer time is. It's way more accurate than al-Qura calendar time prayer. And if you're interested to go where more details, I have online explanation of Bulugh al-Maram, and in one of the it's a long series, but you just look for the one that talk about Fajr timing of the prayer, and I explain in details why it's over 1 hour why this is happening. Also, Sheikh Abu Isa has a very good explanation for it as well in his class in regard to the timing of the Salah. And I think we both agree on the same concept. So I will highly recommend that you do the one which is the North America timing. But if you take whatever, any one of them, you still mujtahid, and inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept from you. The only time that you're not allowed to follow your app, if you see with your own eyes that the app is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, I was once outside camping and it says Maghrib and still in 5 minutes. And I told the guys, can't you see? The sun is already down. No, Sheikh, but the app said, app or your eyes? But you can't do that inside the city because city can be tricky because of all the lighting and stuff like that. You think it's Fajr and it's really not, or it is Maghrib and it's not. So if you are in the place where it's very clear, very distinguished for you, yeah, you follow the what you see with your eyes, not the app. And unfortunately, we don't want to be like a slave to the machines.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And my second question is, so if a woman, her menses ends like in the middle of the day in Ramadan, does she then have to abstain from food and drink for the rest of the day?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
Because she's not fasting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. That's a good question. It's a very common question. A lot of people think that she has and she's not allowed to eat or drink, stuff like that. Also, people say she's not allowed to eat and drink in front. Some women, they think they're not fasting, but still not allowed to eat or drink. I said, man, that's the double responsibility, or like, that's not how the whole Sharia gives the woman who have her menses a break because of the dehydrations and the tiredness of the period. For you to tell her not to eat and drink, and some people said, oh, because she's not allowed to do this in public. We have to understand those who live in the West different than those who live in the Muslim world. So a lot of the books of fiqh talk about women not eating and drinking in public out of respect for the public scene. But the public scene here in America is not Muslim country. So there is no offense to anyone. So if a sister have her menses, she eats in the mall, that's fine. But she cannot eat, for example, in a halal store where the Muslim community is. That's out of respect for the community. So that rule that goes to the country apply to you can't be walking at Asr time in the masjid while, for example, you're having your ice cream or your bubble tea, walking to the masjid. No, I'm not fasting today. You can't do that. But if in a public place, yes, you can. In the house, yes, you can. Yeah.
So I'll go back to the live asks just for one or two, like that we're constantly mixing it up, inshallah, and those live asks do not feel that they're losing out. How sick does a person have to be in order to break their siyam, their fast? In case of a person who has a sore or strep throat, doctors prescribe antibiotics and steroid pills. And if that lasts more than 1 day, how sick do you have to be?
I mean, Sharia, out of its mercy, left that up to the person to make any part of that decision. The sickness that I do believe it is any sickness that it will cause it will cause harm, or so if it causes, let's put the area which is 100%. Any sickness that can be life-threatening, you break your fast. Any sickness that can have a permanent damage, you cannot fast. Any sickness that it can have harm, you cannot fast. Any fasting that will lead to the delay of your recovery, it's an excuse for you not to fast. But there is one area left, which is it causes hardship. It causes hardship. Okay, is that hardship left up to the person? Yani a little bit of headache, that's not an excuse for you to. Everybody fast has a little bit of headache. But no, I get a migraine headache that it paralyzed me, especially because of the summer or because of the long day. In this case, you're allowed to break your fast and to make it up other days. Or this day is just unbearable. I have, for example, let's say pain in I twisted my ankle and it really hurt. In a regular day, would you be able to bear this? No, it really, really hurt me. I'm like torture from or like harm. You're not gonna die out of muscles or like a twisted ankle or something like that. But you need to take pills to put the pain, to bring the pain down, or back pain. Yeah, you're allowed. So I think Sharia meant to keep that. It's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is your judge. So make sure that you do your best.
No.
Yes.
No. Okay. So we're gonna go back to the questions from the Zoom platform. So I believe Aaron, you're next from Edmonton. You can unmute yourself.
Edmonton, nice.
Assalamu alaikum. Pardon my children. Yeah, so the question I had was, first of all, a follow-up to the question about using creams on the skins. What about using things like coconut oil or olive oil? Would that also break your fast to moisturize your skin?
No.
Okay.
Because it's not a coconut, it's not an oil, it's not an olive, it's not like a food. Abstract from the oil and the coconut, the oil and the cream that you use. No, it will not break it.
Even if it's the one that is used for like cooking, like if I pull it out of my pantry and use it on my hands. Okay.
Yeah. If you take honey and you put it in your skin, it will not break your fast.
Oh,
or in your hair. Yeah.
Second question I had was if does steam like from like a shower break your fast as well? And if it does, if you left the shower and you may have inhaled some of that steam, does it still like break your fast after you've realized it?
The only madhab that says steam can break the fast are Malikis, and they talked about steam that it is so heavy, but the three other madhab had talked about the issue of steam, like somebody go to water or just like, let's say, hot spring or something like that. Since you're in Edmonton, you might go to one of these like hot springs in the mountains. Would that break the fast, or steam sauna or anything like that? I do believe it doesn't, and that's the majority of the fuqaha said that, because unless the steam, why some Malikis said this is because the steam can be accumulated in your throat and became water. I've been to sauna. I don't remember that. It could actually make you more dry than anything else. But if you want to avoid that, but definitely the shower steam is not even, in my opinion, there is doubt about it. So it is allowed, inshallah, to take a shower with the warm water, hot water. even if there is a steam, and it will not break your fast.
No.
Jazakallah khair.
Okay, so we're going to continue from the Zoom. Fatiha, you're next from Toronto, but after that it's going to be Abdulazim, because I think you're having a hard time raising your hand on the app and you're raising it physically and it's been a while. So we're going to let you pass the queue. And just a pointer, when you ask your question, because we have a lot of questions, please, if you could jump into the questions right away, that would be appreciated. You know, we could skip the salam, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam to everyone. We hope you're all doing well. So alhamdulillah, if you could just unmute, shoot your question right away, that would be appreciated. Fatiha, bismillah. Show them how it's done.
Can I fast without eating sahur?
Yes, your fasting is correct without eating suhoor, Sister Fatiha. But it's not recommended. You should have suhoor because that will help you to fast, and it's highly recommended to eat suhoor. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, eat suhoor. He ordered us to do so. Yes.
Jazakallah khair.
Yakum, Brother Abdul Azim, you are free to unmute yourself and ask your question, inshallah.
Abdul Azim, ahlan sahlan.
Sheikh, is it allowed to get a newborn baby circumcised at a non-Muslim hospital performed by non-Muslim doctors? Or like, are we supposed to go to a Muslim doctor only, or like, is it okay to get a newborn baby boy circumcised at a non-Muslim hospital performed by non-Muslim doctors?
You are allowed to go to a non-Muslim doctors to perform circumcision in your boy, newborn boy, and you can go to non-Muslim doctors for any other medical reason. Absolutely, and this is something very common. In Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used Abdullah ibn Urayqit, who was not a Muslim, to guide him in his trip from Mecca to Medina. He used him. Also, if you look at the practice of Muslim through centuries, they always used non-Muslim doctors. And Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah, in Bada' al-Fawaid, have talked about this, and he said, there is no proof to distinguish, and the Muslims been through time using non-Muslim doctors. Sufyan al-Thawri, one of the great scholars of Hadith, used when he take his urine, a sample of his urine, and it was given to a Christian doctors who looked at it, and he said, this person has this and this sickness, and he diagnosed it. Also, you have Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, a Christian doctor came and checked him and visited him in his house. And there's plenty of narrations like this. So obviously, yes. The only time we would recommend a Muslim doctor when the doctor's diagnose or rulings will contradict with Sharia. In this case, we would like from you to ask a Muslim doctors just to make sure we still take his recommendations and treatment and stuff like that. But let's say he said, don't fast. You know, non-Muslim doctors, when it comes to a conflict between religion and medical recommendation, first of all, we say if you can look for a Muslim doctor, okay, who cares about, because there are some Muslim doctors, they don't care about Islam or religion. Just not being a Muslim, it makes them somebody he cares. He will tell you, for example, no, you still can fast, but take this medication in the night or before suhoor. He understands, but maybe a non-Muslim will not understand what fasting is and what it is. So if the non-Muslim doctor, not known to be anti-religion, because some non-Muslims, like, they don't even have respect for people's faith and religious, duties. They don't care about it. If this is what it seems to be, this somebody I will not take his opinion when there is a conflict. But no, he understands. Oh, okay. So he shows you that you respect your faith and your practice, and he tried to work with you, and you explain to him how this will work. And in this case, I'll take his recommendation. Okay.
So my concern is, so my concern is, will they do circumcision properly or not?
That's a medical that's a medical procedure. It's a standard procedure. There is nothing special.
Okay.
It's a standard procedure.
Yeah. Okay. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
Can I say something?
Hold on, I'll get to you soon enough because I know that we'll go by the order, inshallah. So, Sister Amber, you are free to unmute and ask your question. Jazakallah khair.
I'm actually asking on behalf of another sister on the group. She wasn't able to unmute. Fatima Beg is asking if there are no men, boys that can lead the salah at home. Is a woman allowed to lead the salah? That was her question.
If her boys are less than 10, is the question, can you say the question again? Hold on.
Yeah, sorry, I have to scroll back up here. Okay, if there are no men or boys that can lead the salah at home, is a woman allowed to lead the salah?
Yeah, women can lead each other. Aisha used to lead women in salah. Salama used to lead women in salah. Yeah. She can be in front of them like the regular imam, or she can be lining up in the first lane in the middle. Both are okay.
And if I may ask a follow-up question that I just thought of, so can the same be said for Taraweeh prayers?
Any prayer.
Okay.
Any prayer. And maybe it's beneficial for you to know, what if I have young boys at home? Can they pray behind me? Yes. If they are less than 10 years old or cannot, they can pray behind you.
All right, we're going to continue, inshallah. Sister Sana, unmute yourself and ask your question right away.
I have two questions. Does vaccine invalidate time?
It's not clear. Can you say that again? Hold on. I cannot hear you clearly. Can you please say that again?
Does vaccine invalidate fasting?
She's asking if vaccines invalidate the fast.
Okay, vaccine do not invalidate the fast. Vaccine do not invalidate the fast. And please, if you're not vaccinated and you have your doctor recommend vaccination for you, take it.
Okay, and my next question is, can a woman read Quran during menstruation?
Yes, women can read Quran during menstruation, during her period or haid. There is no proof to forbid her from such thing. No proof at all. As men can read Quran without wudu too. And the idea that women cannot read Quran during haid is a weak opinion, actually. First of all, have any valid evidence to support it. It's only based on in a form of analogy, saying as the person who have sexual impurity or after having an intercourse cannot read Quran, women during haid cannot read Quran. And there's a big difference between the two situations. You know, haid continued for days, while the janaba can be removed at any time. Janaba can be removed, it doesn't last for a long time. Janaba can be removed in any time. And the haid cannot be removed until the blood stops. The janaba is something I occurred it, but haid is not. That's why women can read Quran, can hold the Mus'haf even according to the opinion that I think it is strong, even though it's not the majority opinion. But at least what you can do, you can read from your tablet, and that's everybody will agree that this is not a Quran you're allowed to touch and to read from. So don't cut your relationship with the Quran just because you have menses. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told Aisha, your menses, your blood is not in your hand. You can touch things. We're not Jews. The Jews, the Orthodox Jews, are the one who said women who have period, she's najis. If she touched something, it became najis. You cannot be with her in the same room, in the same house even. And we don't have that. Islam came to change that. Yes.
No. Okay, so I'm gonna do one question from the live ask, and then we're gonna get back to Sister Shamim. So for a woman who is pregnant who chose not to fast, does she have to replace the fast and pay fidya? For a woman who is breastfeeding, chose not to fast, does she have to replace the fast? And so the questions were just repeated twice. So.
Okay, no problem. If a sister is pregnant or breastfeeding, the first question is, can she fast? And if she can, is that put her or her child in harm or possible harm? If the answer is yes, or can cause the reductions of milk or not, or the milk to cut off because of fast. If the answer is yes, in this case, she's allowed to break her fast. But if the answer is no, she cannot break the fast. She must fast. She's 100%. Let's say you live in a country where or at a time, let's say you live in down under, okay, where now fasting is only 4 hours or 5 hours a day. Who said that this will harm the baby for breastfeeding? Or like woman, mashallah, she's very healthy, she's very nutritious, she's very hydrated. There is no harm for her to fast. Not just because breastfeeding, she just break the fast. No, only if that might possibly, even if the possible is a slim chance, still you have, but you know that there is possibility that it can harm you or the baby. In this case, you're allowed to break the fast. And when you break your fast for that reason, there is a debate between the scholars what you should do next. I lean towards the opinion, okay, which is the old opinion of Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala and Tawsa'i and one narration from Hanabila and others, that what you do is you feed miskin for each and every day. You feed a miskin a meal for each day. As I said before, you can give a meal, you can give the cost of the meal to one person or multiple people as you wish. And you don't need to fast it these days. Yes.
No. All right. So we're going to go back to the Zoom platform. Next, I have Yashman from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, nice.
So you could unmute yourself, Yasmahan.
It's in my bucket list to go to visit.
Inshallah.
Where is Puerto Rico?
Well, not here, so we're gonna skip to Sister Zainab and then back to check on our Puerto Rican sister. Sister Zainab, you could unmute.
Omer, I'll settle for Dallas.
Assalamu
alaikum.
My question is, what applies if a person doesn't know how many fasts does he have missed it in past? So what applies then?
Question: why the person missed these fasts in the past?
Due to medical reasons?
Huh?
Medical reasons?
For medical reason.
Yeah.
And that medical reasons, when they had this medical condition, that they know that they will be cured from it?
Yes.
Okay.
The new.
Okay. So in this case, the person goes with their best guess. So let's say, I'm not sure if it is 20 days or 30 days. We go with 30, the safest side. So they do their best. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, forgive them if they made a mistake. Yes.
All right, so let's go back to Yasmahan. Are we ready to ask?
We have, I think Amir also raised his hand. Puerto Rico?
Nothing yet. So we're going to go to Sister Aisha, who has been very patient. MashaAllah. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to ask, is it, so like if we miss our Fajr prayer and we constantly miss it, what can we do to?
Can you repeat the question again? Somebody constantly missing Fajr prayer? Is what you said? Yeah. Yep. First of all, it is a serious problem that the person has to see it as a serious issue, that I'm constantly missing my prayer, because it's one of the best prayer in the 5 prayers we do every day. And it is the beginning of the day, and the blessings of the day start with Fajr. So that person first must ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him or her missing the prayer. Number 2, let's see what are the reasons that I'm not waking up. Do I sleep late? So I start sleeping early. Am I not taking the enough precautions or means to wake up? Buy a bigger alarm. Get someone to call you to wake you up. Make sure that your family, if you can, if you have family, to help you with that. Do whatever it takes. I remember when I was in high school, We used to have a brother who, to wake him up, he tied his leg in a rope, and he put the rope out from the window. He lives on the second floor, it's an apartment. And somebody will walk by his house and pull the rope in the morning to wake him up. I'm serious, you know? Anyway, so whatever it takes to make sure that you wake up for Salah. And if you take all these means and you didn't wake up for whatever, let's say somebody really, really heavy sleep, inshallah, they are forgiven. In Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in his time, a man said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm from a family that we never wake up. We only wake up when the sun is so, like when the heat of the sun, and he wakes us up. I would never wake up for Fajr. I'll try, but I couldn't. Only when the heat of the sun will wake me up. Then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, when you wake up, you pray right away. I mean, some people might have some medical conditions or some circumstances that really taking some medications, but it's not acceptable that you play games, you watch movies, you watch programs, you socialize, you're in social media all night, then 2, 3 hours or 4 hours, 5 hours before Fajr, you say, oh, I didn't wake up because I was tired. Okay, obviously, yes. Try to take 8 hours of sleep, and inshallah, you will be able to wake up.
No. Nafa'Allahu bik, Sheikh. Back to the live ask, Sheikh, is it okay to lead or to pray Taraweeh while holding a mushaf or the cell phone? And that's from me. What about leading Taraweeh while holding a mushaf or cell phone? And does the phone have to be on airplane mode? Is that a condition?
It is a smart thing to do, to be in air mode. Otherwise, while you're praying, somebody call you and you lose the recitation. But I wouldn't say condition, but it's a smart thing to do. The second thing is, yes, you're allowed to hold the mushaf or the phone or any script that you can read from it while you are praying. Aisha radiallahu anha, she used to be led by one of her servants who were holding the mushaf in the Quran, and she prayed behind him, and we didn't hear any one of the Sahaba objected to that. And there is the correct opinion, there is no difference between wajib salah or nafil salah or anything like that. You can hold it as you need it. It is just an extra movement in the salah, which is disliked, but the salah is valid, especially in Taraweeh, and somebody can't read, they are allowed to use the mushaf and to use any gadget. There is other opinion, there's other thing you can do where all the madhahib will agree that you're okay, or not all madhahib, but majority will be okay with you, which is to buy a stand and you put this big mushaf in front of you in the stand. Okay, so you don't really flip pages or you move your hand or anything like that. You read with your eyes from it, and that will make you, a lot of them, in this case, a lot of the scholars will allow such so a lot of scholars will say such practice will be permissible. Also, there is another thing I want to add to this, which can be beneficial for my brother and sister who don't speak Arabic. That you also can do the English translation, but you don't read English in Salah, but you can look with your eyes to the English translation, okay? While you are reading, while the Imam reading. So you're behind the Imam and you're holding it and you're looking at it. But the condition is you don't move your tongue. You don't read, oh, praise to God. You start reading the English with them. That's not allowed. But you just with your eyes looking at the meaning of the words that he is reciting, so you can connect with the Imam. That's allowed. And ulama rahimahullah talked about this, and they have fatwa in regard to, is it a person reading from a mushaf and there is tafsir, like explanation of the words on the side? Can I look at these words? They said yes, as long as you don't read you don't read the tafsir, but you look at by your eyes to understand what's that word mean. And among the mashayikh who said that, Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah, and the Hanabila talked about this long time ago. So similar to that will be the English translation, because just giving the meaning of the words to non-Arabic speaker. And hopefully that will help you to enjoy the salah too.
No, that's really, really interesting point, mashallah. All right, let's do a last checkup. Asmahan, Puerto Rico, are we there? Anybody there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'm calling about, I have a son that is type 1 diabetes and he wants to fast. So he's on insulin. When the sugar goes low, then he gets a little bit honey. And when the sugar goes high, he drinks water. So, but he's abstaining from food. So I don't know what to do.
I'll consult a doctor. If that's not safe for him to fast, I wouldn't. But insulin will not break his fast. And there is debate. I lean towards that insulin will not break his fast. So even if you take an insulin shot, he should be fine. If that,
but when the sugar goes low.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But tell him this, that if it's not safe for him to fast, especially when it's long days like these days, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him exactly as if he fasted. Let him enjoy Ramadan by doing other things like salah, sadaqah, ibadah, depends how old he is. So just let him know that he get the full reward, inshallah ta'ala.
Barakallah feek, Sheikh. So could we do maybe another 15 minutes or so, Sheikh? Are you going to be okay with that?
I'm good. I think there's somebody who was raising his hand earlier in the screen. Yeah, Amir. That's right. Oh, E-M-I-R. Amir.
Yes, I was raising my hand. I didn't know how to do whatever.
No,
I think people were in front of me though.
Okay,
just Amir, go ahead, Amir. Go ahead.
No, okay, Bismillah. I forgot my question. Oh, is it far to get the COVID vaccine? And if somebody were to get it and you transported it to somebody because you didn't want to get the vaccine, are you sinful because of that? Like, say I go to visit my grandmother, God forbid, and I give it to her because I didn't refuse to get the vaccine. Am I sinful for this?
I'm worried if the person do negligence, yes, he take the burden of it. And like some of these vaccines, like I'm not here to advertise, it's no business actually. It's free, especially in America here and most of the world now, like Moderna or Pfizer. Like it's very, very, very safe, much safer. I can promise you than many of the vaccines that you already. Or I can't promise you, but that's what we know from the vaccine that we already have taken and consumed, and much safer than so many of the things that we consume every day, maybe in our food, that we don't know what it is made of. So even with the Johnson & Johnson's lately the whole clot thing, still remember, it is 6 cases out of almost 7 million doses. That's like 1 in a million, 1 in more than a million. That's very, 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 very small percentage. Like your Tylenol have maybe percentage, something like that. Just metaphorically speaking about the Tylenol and ibuprofen, which is something very common that we use. So I will really highly recommend to ask people, specialists, about the vaccine and how good it is for the person to take it. But I wouldn't say it's fard. But it is a smart thing to do. It's a highly recommended for the person to do. And the problem is this, brothers and sisters, we have to understand this simple fact. The problem, if we don't vaccinate enough people, the virus can change. And if the virus change, we go back to square one. If it's changed completely, we go to square one, or it became more aggressive or more deadly. Who wants that to happen? That's the problem. If there is anything we should learn from this pandemic era, how interconnected we are with each other. Those jerks who goes outside during the peak of the pandemic, like a lot of them, I have them here in Texas, no mask, macho, blah, 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 and sneezing and coughing. That's not freedom. That's your stupidity is causing me to get sick, causing friends of mine to die, causing family member of mine to die, and his and her. We're all connected into this. It's like the boat. So it is so important for us to recognize that concept. So that's the whole thing about why I think it's important for us to do this vaccines, because it's not, you are young. MashaAllah, my son is 20 years old and he's young, and he's even if he gets it, he's gonna get recovered, inshallah, with no underlying. But like what you said, what if he give it to someone else? Not okay, he didn't give it to anyone else, but still the way that this vaccine will die out, basically, it's by having no room for it to live, and that's through the vaccine. And that's according to the expert. I'm not expert, but I'm telling you what's the experts in this field have been saying in regard to the vaccine. Same thing, how we ended it, or at least controlled so many viruses before. Many doctors that I know telling me we don't think that this virus will go away completely, but really, hopefully, we can turn it to be something similar to the influenza, which is manageable. But remember how the influenza study started was something unmanageable and killed millions and millions of people. What, we have 5 million people die so far because of COVID or something, or 3 million, I'm not sure. It's just sad. It's very sad. So I wouldn't say it's wajib, but it's highly recommended, and it doesn't need to be wajib or haram. It doesn't need to be also common sense, and person do the thing that they see it makes sense. Yeah, to them.
No. So we're going to continue, inshallah. Because we're running out of time, I'm going to ask the people who have their hands up, inshallah, to keep it to one questions and to ask super quick. So bismillah, Amatullah, you can unmute and ask yourself, and Farhat, you're next.
Assalamu
alaikum. I can hear you.
Alhamdulillah. I had a question about the vitamin B12 injection. I was told because it's nutritional that it's probably not permissible to take during Ramadan. I wanted to know, does it break the fast?
It will break your fast.
It will, okay. And then just one more question, please. This is a very tiny question, similar, about biological medicines as well, injection. Does that break the fast?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, neither do I, honestly. I was asking on behalf of my sister.
Okay.
All right, Jazakallah khair.
Farhat, bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, from the previous question, I know you don't have time. Biologics, Sheikh, are immune modulating injections which are given in serious conditions. I just happen to be a medic, so if you want to answer that.
What that means, what it does?
They change your immunity in a way that you are able to fight many diseases, including eczema, psoriasis, arthritis, those kind of things, even in some kinds of cancers. That's biologic.
I mean, if that's what it's, in this case, it is allowed.
Okay, that's not my question, Jazakallah khair. My question is, Sheikh, once I had the honor of asking you personally about writing Quran and any ajr on it, and you told me about a hadith where through Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that whoever writes Quran, the fire of hell will not touch that person. I got so excited, I forgot to ask you, is it writing about the whole Quran or any part of the Quran, or as much as you can?
The general rules in Sharia is like this. There is nothing like either 100% or zero. You see what I'm saying? So when you do something, you get the reward for it. When you do the whole thing, you get a bigger reward for it.
Is there a reference for this hadith possibly? Because I searched and searched, I couldn't find any.
Just 1 second. This is something I read when I was in high school, so it's kind of hold on. Yeah, I need to look it up. If you message me, I need to search it. Or Tiani, if I'm not mistaken, I will refer to somebody, to books of Al-Khattabi rahimahullah. Most likely that's where That's my memory is, but that's like a
Jazakallah.
very, very long ago.
Any way to get
But it's not a hadith from the Prophet. It's a narration. Basically, narrations that is from Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and others. Yes.
Okay. Nah. So we're gonna continue, inshallah, with Sister Hanan. You could unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is, can we read Quran without moving lips? From my understanding, we can't. And I have elders in my family that read the whole Quran silently. And do I have to advise them, or yeah, that's my question about, can we read the Quran without moving our lips?
Any dhikr, it has to be included moving the lips, because that's pronunciation. So any, and the Quran is a form of dhikr, okay? But it doesn't mean that you have to read out loud. Like you can say, and I can hear myself, even though you cannot hear anything I just said. But I just read the beginning of Surah Al-Fatiha. Yes.
No.
For the, what's the other question was? There's two questions.
No, it's not. It's the same question, but I have elders in the family. Like my elder father, he reads the whole Quran silently. But I'm thinking, is it important enough that I have to keep reminding him, or should I just leave him in his state?
Yeah, he might like. Did you notice that I'm reading? I'm just saying, right?
Oh no, he doesn't even know he's supposed to. But I try to tell him, but he just forgets. He just reads as he is.
Yeah, it's good to remind. Inshallah, he's forgiven. I mean, inshallah, Allah reward him for his intention. If somebody forget because he's like used to, but it's good to educate them. Yes.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan.
Oh yeah, inshallah. I just want to say, in regard to writing the Mus'haf, the sister also should remember that every time the person writes, that means he's reading. So every letter you write, you have the same ajr of reading the Mus'haf. No.
So we're gonna take maybe one or two hands, and then we're gonna end it with that, inshallah. So the last two hands here, I have Malik and then Sister Nazia. And reminder to please keep it on the theme of Ramadan. A lot of the questions that were submitted through the live ask are not about Ramadan, so that's why we have to skip some of them. So the Sister Malik, you could please unmute and ask yourself.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamu.
I have a question. I have a 17-year-old that's a senior in high school. He's really struggling to fast and concentrate in school. He's in a special school doing computer science. How do I encourage? I've tried everything. Any suggestion I give, I feel like it's been blocked. And, sometimes I lose my patience that I feel like he's prioritizing school before God. But I just need encouragement, like what kind of tips I can give him. He gets a headache during the day that he's literally in bed all day. So I told him maybe the first week when he goes by, it will get better. But I don't know what to do.
Definitely. It gets better. Definitely it gets better after the couple of days. But also encourage him to get hydrated. Like make sure that his suhoor right before Fajr. I don't know where you live, but if you live in
Jersey, in America, yeah.
Jersey, okay.
Yeah.
So Fajr is not far away from the time of school. Like my kids finish suhoor, finish Salat al-Fajr, they're ready to go to school. Okay, so we're all in the same boat. Make sure that they drink coconut water, or things that get them very hydrated. My kids play soccer too. And they have tournament while they're fasting. So, and they have the class. I really feel for them. And you have to make sure, sister, you make your son understand that you feel his struggle. Don't dismiss his feeling. Don't dismiss his struggle. Validate it and tell him that's why Allah reward you more. That's why, and remind him of the virtue. And the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, can you imagine they used to go to the battlefield? They used to do this. They used to do that while they're fasting. And that's also underline another bigger issue with the teenager in general, that we need to make sure that their iman is strong and their priority is correct. That Allah created me first to worship him, not to go to school, not to go to work. It doesn't mean I don't go to school, I don't go to work. But the first responsibility I have in life is to worship Allah and to fulfill His command. Then after that things come. So this kind of conversation and inspiration, looking at other people, inshallah, hopefully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for him. And definitely, if he comes, yeah, you're welcome. And if he comes to a level where he is sick, like really, like he became exhausted and can't do it, he can break his fast and make it up later on.
Yes, yesterday he had a bad headache. He broke his fast. All right, Jazakallah khair.
But don't open that door because everybody has a bad headache.
No. Okay. Yeah. And a last hand that we're going to be taking is from Sister Nazia. Bismillah, please unmute yourself.
Does giving blood while fasting invalidate the fast?
What do you mean giving blood? For what reason, Sister Nazia?
For a blood test. It's for my mother-in-law.
Blood test. Yeah. Blood test will not break your fast. A blood test will not break your fast. What can break your fast if you give a great deal or amount of blood, like to donating blood will break your fast because that will be the same as al-hijama, cupping. And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, and the hadith is authentic, after the person who gives hijama is break his fast. Yeah, that's according to some of the ulama, rahimahullah. Some others will not even consider that break the fast. But I do believe that, and that's the opinion of Shaykh Baz rahimahullah ta'ala, that a good amount of blood, like a lot of blood, giving it will break the fast. But any small amount of blood will not break the fast, like the blood of like nose bleeding, just a cut in the hand, that will not break the fast. Or blood test.
Jazakallah.
Dentist, you got dentist, stop bleeding, that will not break your fast.
Okay. All right, and that will be it for the live questions. The last question from the live ask, and that will be it, inshallah. For a woman who has who menstruates for more than 7 days, for like about 2 weeks, does she doesn't pray, nor does she fast during those 2 weeks, or is there a limit of 7 days?
That's not normal. I mean, for a woman to have her period for 2 weeks, or not common, the least I can say. So it depends if this is her menses all her life, 2 weeks. It's kind of not a common, not something I heard before. But I'm worried that she does not differentiate between the menses and bleeding, because if her menses can be 7 days or 8 days, but she starts to continue bleed. Continuous bleeding is not menses, so it doesn't take the rule of menses. So if I can't answer the question because there's a lot of details I have to know. Is this a regular period? Is temporary? So I'll advise you that you talk to someone specifically to take more details.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Waleed Basyouni, for the extra time even that you gave us for this, our first Fatwa night. It's not going to be our last for this sacred and blessed month of Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah.
To conclude, inshallah, we want to thank everyone for attending. We apologize for not being able to answer all the questions. And I know that a lot of you still had questions, and especially in the live ask, that were not answered, unfortunately. However, we will be back, inshallah, shortly at 5 p.m. Eastern time, so in about 40 minutes, with Sheikh Yahya Ibrahim for his session about the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and the miracle of the bird. So for that, I want you to log back in. And if you haven't done it, because I know we are streamed on multiple platforms and Facebook pages, we encourage you all to register through the Ramadan360.org page, inshallah, so you could be part of this community that we're creating. So jazakumullah khair, everyone. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, نستغفرك اللهم ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة